If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you vote for?
Trump.
Okay, why so?
What was that?
Why so?
I just so personally, I think Trump's kind of a dirt bag, but I align with the views of that party, if that makes sense.
Okay, what views?
Um, so pro life, pro all that stuff. You know, I support those
Okay, so
values
would
more.
you be in support of restricting bodily autonomy to save human life?
What was that?
Would you
Sorry,
be in
cutting out a
support
little
of
bit.
restricting bodily autonomy to save human life?
No,
No. So then you
I mean
you're not pro-life, right?
I'm not. I mean, I'm pro life, but if it's the mother's health is in jeopardy, I would say probably. Um,
So
yeah.
what? No. So would you be okay with restricting bodily autonomy to save human life? That's what you specifically have to do in order to be able to say that abortion should be illegal in any circumstance, right?
So I'm not extremist like where you I say yes you would.
Okay. Well, I'm saying like in elective circumstances, you're still restricting their bodily autonomy to choose what
I
they
think
want with
there
their body.
in
Okay.
those circumstances that should be allowed for the mother to make that decision with the
Okay.
medical professional.
So it should be legal if if it's elective, if it's not medically necessary.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Okay. So then you agree with Roe versus Wade being in place. So you're not pro-life. You're pro-choice.
I mean, I don't think it should be up to the federal court to make that decision. I think it shouldn't have to get to that point. Does that make sense? I
Okay.
think states
So
should have more of that say.
okay.
So,
Wait, no. Why shouldn't it be up to the individual? If it was federally protected prior to access to viability, it was already
so,
up to someone's choice. If you don't want an
so
abortion, don't
I
get an
would say,
abortion.
due to my belief in God, I believe just for the sake of birth control, to take the baby out, to take the baby is just wrong.
You can say
I,
it's wrong, but it shouldn't be illegal, right?
I think it should be illegal for
Okay.
just
Okay, so do you think every sin should be illegal?
yeah. Well, depends on what the sin is. I mean, if it's just
Exactly. So,
say,
who determines what sins should be illegal and what sins should not be?
I would say that it's discretionary.
Okay, so it's dependent upon the individual. So if it's dependent upon the individual, then it's not predicated off of your belief in God. So then what specifically about your individual beliefs on the matter, right, are the
So,
reason why you believe this?
so I'm a born again Christian. So what I believe is when we are born again, saved, baptized, and all that, he writes the laws on our heart. So we necessarily don't have. We're not under that old covenant where you have to wear, a skirt or a head covering or whatever it is. We're under a new covenant. So I would say he would as a human what's right and wrong. We have that kind of downloaded in us when we're born, if that makes sense.
Okay, well, apparently a lot of Trump supporters don't because they still support Trump even though he was held civilly liable, even though he incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol, even though he said he would date a in 10 years, even though he bragged about walking into the changing rooms of girls in Miss Teen USA because he quote unquote owns the place to inspect them without their consent, right?
Which
And
I,
while they were
which
changing,
I
an 18-year-old came out and said there were four girls in his changing rooms who Donald Trump would barge in. He also called his daughter voluptuous, which means curvy and attractive. He said he'd be dating his own daughter if it wasn't his daughter, and he said he had in
so
common with his daughter when his daughter said real estate and golf. So apparently Trump supporters, right, didn't have it written in their hearts
so
because they did not see that
fair enough.
as
I
wrong.
agree with all of you on all that. So I vote for the parties for the trajectory of our nation. So, or would you agree Joe Biden was in private affairs in Ukraine with the kind of stuff he had going on behind scenes? Would
Are
you?
you trying to talk about Hunter Biden, not Joe?
Well, Joe Biden probably had some say, and you think he has
There's
no
no
sin,
evidence of that.
no evidence.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I like I said, I vote for the party. I agree with you. Trump's a dirtbag. I mean, but I voted for him because I don't want the left's viewpoints pushed through our nation, if that makes sense. Like there's a cultural war going on, and I believe that I vote party line. And I agree with you, Trump's a dirtbag. He wasn't my first choice, but I did vote for him because I want that viewpoint of the right wing to be pushed. So I agree with everything you're saying. I'm not disagreeing. I think he's a dirtbag, but I like I said, I vote party line.
Yeah. Okay. You vote party lines. Okay. No matter what.
Well, it depends on the individual. I mean,
Okay. So so is there something Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty disappointed with the whole Israel, what he's doing with Israel. I honestly think the Jews were behind Charlie Kirk's incident. I don't know, but
Whoa. Okay. I'm sorry, bro.
I
So
think
I'm sorry.
it's
That's just anti-Semitism. That's just anti-Semitism. Genuinely.
no.
Like
I'm talking
you,
about Netanyahu. I'm not talking about like
no.
all
Then
Jews
don't
in
say
general.
Jewish people, right? If you think
Yeah,
Zionism,
sorry.
there's a
Sorry,
distinction between Zionism, right, and
You're right.
people who are Jewish. There's a huge
Yeah, you're right.
distinction, very relevant
Sorry.
distinction, and to conflate the two is anti-Semitic.
Got you. I did not mean that in that way.
And also, there's not good evidence even to indicate that.
I've been watching Candace Owens videos.
Of
It's
course you
kind of
have.
just. I know you go down that rabbit hole. It's like
I'm sorry, but you gotta like wait for like evidence and basis in believing it, not just like listen to whatever
I'm just
Candace
shooting
Owens
out there.
says.
I'm saying conspiracy theories. I'm not saying I legit believe that. I just think the whole situation doesn't sit right with me.
Okay. All right.
But what I'm trying to say is like what's going on over there. How they're just flat out innocent civilians is just flat out wrong. And it's just
I totally agree.
it just doesn't sit right with me. But
Okay,
so I have a question about religion. Do you answer religious questions, or is that
if it's
something
related
you're
to the topic, of course. I'm an agnostic atheist, if that's your question.
okay? So, what are you gonna do if he's real?
What are you gonna do if God's? I don't think it's possible because I think it's contradictory, like Christianity.
So if you
Like if
died,
there's a different God, well then I don't know. It depends on the God.
okay. So if you and you wake up and you see him, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna plead for mercy? Are you gonna be like sorry? Are you gonna be like, crap, I was wrong?
Well, what's gonna lead me going to the nice place, and what's gonna lead me going to the bad place?
What's gonna lead you going to the bad place?
Yeah, I don't want to go to hell.
Well,
Like if hell actually exists, I would do whatever I could to not go there.
okay,
But
fair
I don't
enough.
believe it exists.
Okay. Well, I believe the God of the Bible is true and accurate, and I believe that we're not here just because I mean, look at your hands. You're able to move. You're able to breathe. You're able to feel. You think all that just came from nothing?
Do I think all of that came from? Okay, well I
Yeah.
don't.
Do you think? Do you think that?
Do you think atheists believe that everything came from nothing? That's not what atheists believe. So, I don't know what it came from. I don't know. I don't know the explanation. Not knowing the explanation doesn't mean that it's nothing.
So, okay. So you think that just all this happened out of randomness?
I know about evolution. I know about like different facts within the reality, like the Big Bang. But I do not know what came prior to the Big Bang.
Okay. But going back to that question, what if God is real? Like, without God, you have no hope. You have no.
I have hope.
Nothing.
I'm fine.
Okay. So if you just good with nothing after that, that's it.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen after this. I hope there's something, but I hope it's not something
Well,
bad.
Okay. So Christians, we believe that we have faith. Like, yes, we know that God's not just going to come down here right now and fix all this. He's left us to steward it, and we have to, by faith, which faith means to believe in Him and believe that He's working everything out for good, have faith in Him, and we have hope for eternal life.
Okay, but
So,
that belief is without evidence. You don't have reason to believe that, and I don't think that I have good enough reason to
well,
believe
if
it.
you look at the
Why
Bible, it's
believe one religion
historical.
over another one? Genuinely, like, what's the reason? What's the evidence
So,
for one religion being true versus the other one not? If it's
so
belief
what's
without
what's
evidence, it's
pretty
whatever you
cool.
feel like. I can come up with my own religion and just believe that. I think that's
Well,
obviously ridiculous. So we have to
well,
have
if you,
some standard for determining what we consider to be true. Do
I
I
mean, you
understand
look
why
at
people
Trent.
often like feel it, like fall into that? Yeah. So like my parents are Christian. I understand, falling into it, but I understand, and also
Okay.
I disagree with them. I think that there's not reason to believe it to be true. I think that we often fall into it culturally because there's a lot of Christianity within our culture, right? I grew up in a Christian
Okay.
conservative household. There's a lot of culture of Christianity within what I grew up in. And I see why people fall into it because it makes them feel good. There are good aspects of it that they like, that they hold on to. And it's okay to hold on to the good aspects. And, please reject the bad. But it's good to hold on to the good aspects. I understand that.
Okay.
And I feel
Well,
that it's
I would
comfortable for
argue
people. But I
I would
also
argue
disagree with the
against.
basis for it. I don't think there's any good evidentiary basis for it. And I don't think it's good to base it as something for like how the law
There's
should operate.
historical evidence. There's artifacts. This is historical evidence. The Bible is a proven historical document that history professors use. It's it's not. I mean, Jesus was a person. There's no denying that.
I don't
He
dispute
was a
that,
legit
but there's no
person.
good evidence that he rose from the dead. There's no good evidence he
There's
turned
plenty of
water from
evidence.
wine,
There's
and there's no
secular
good evidence
evidence
that he
that he
walked
did.
on water. No, there's no good evidence of that, right? If you want to look at the Bible, the Bible itself, New Testament, passed down word of mouth for a generation plus before it was even written down.
So
Okay,
you wouldn't
we
say
don't have
eyewitnesses are.
firsthand accounts of this even happening.
There are eyewitnesses.
There aren't firsthand accounts. There are claims of eyewitnesses. There are not firsthand accounts.
Okay. Well, I believe that there are eyewitnesses, and through historical documents and
There are claims
all
of
of that. I
eyewitnesses.
can.
That's like if I were to claim that there were 500 eyewitnesses of a floating pig. Do you believe in the floating pig? Because I claimed that there are 500 eyewitnesses that saw the floating pig.
I mean, there's plenty of secular. Okay, here's what I'm trying to go at. So, if you look at the God of the Bible, so the creation story is actually accepted by the Muslims, Jews, Christians. They all believe in the flood and all of that.
No,
And
the flood
actually,
is the flood. There's no good evidence for a global flood. Now there were floods that were localized to those certain areas, not a global flood. There's no good evidence of that, especially geologically. Now, if you believe
okay.
in creation, that's different than saying you believe in a specific religion. You can believe that there was a cause to the universe. You could just say, I don't know what the cause was. The cause could be
So,
naturalistic. The cause could be some sort of deistic notion of God. But I
do
don't
you
think it
think?
makes sense to say an all knowing, all powerful, all good being created the universe. We live in a world where people starve to death to the millions because of the biology that exists. If there was a God, they created our biology in such a way in which millions of people starve to death every year. That's horrible. That's atrocious. If they knowingly did that, they did something wrong.
Okay. So, another just to pick your
And
brain.
can we go?
Do you
Can we also
think?
go back to the topic as well here?
I kind of went off topic a little bit, but
Yeah.
so do you believe that God reaches out to people currently? Do you think that
No, I don't believe
people
in a
who?
God.
Okay. So what would you? I mean, I really do
Oh,
believe.
do you think
through,
God saved Donald Trump on the assassination attempt? Do you think that God saved him?
I'm not. You know what? I mean, I don't know. I'm not him, so I can't
Okay.
really prove
I
that.
was just gonna see how far you go. I mean, do
I'm
you?
not that extreme. I'm not. I don't
Okay.
worship Donald Trump. I'm not really a MAGA. Like, oh my, like my grandpa. He has a flag. I love Trump. I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, I voted for him just because like I said, I vote party line, and yeah. So I don't.
So
So
if you
do
want to,
you
if you want
think?
to vote party line, you got to give me a good reason for that because I think that everything that you believed in terms of the Republican Party is not Donald Trump. Like literally, the Republican Party prior to Donald
Okay,
Trump is a
what I
different
liked
party.
about what I did like about Donald Trump, his first term, what really screwed him up was or screwed him over was COVID. If COVID didn't happen, he had this economy rolling. Like gas was below $2 a gallon. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. Like he had this economy going. That's as an American, I looked forward to having cheaper grocery prices and all that stuff. And I really did think, economy wise, like financial wise, he did pretty good. The second term,
What did he do?
Definitely, it's been a different second term for him. I think it's not been as good, but hopefully
What
it
did
gets
he do
better.
that was
But-
good?
Well, the stock market was up. The gas was down. The economy was at its best since the 80s in his first term. But
Gas was lower under Obama in 2016 than Trump. Did you know that?
really, I did not know that.
And the trending up stock market was already true under Obama.
Okay, cool. I mean, like I said, I vote for the trajectory of this nation. Like I want to vote for the right wing views just because I believe in God and those values. So I don't know what else you want to talk about, but
Yeah, but like you believing in God doesn't mean you go towards the right. Like, I think you should go towards the left if you're going to believe in God. You believe in Jesus, right? You want to love thy neighbor. You want to have compassion for those around you. You want to ensure that every person coming to the country is treated humanely. That would specifically be better on behalf of what's it called, the liberal side.
I would say I'm actually pretty liberal in that sense. Like I'm pretty accepting. I'm pretty gracious. I think God's in the middle. I don't think he's right wing. I don't think he's left wing. I think he probably wouldn't even dabble into politics. He probably would just try to save people. But
okay, but politics is how you save people. Like ensuring that children have access to adequate food, ensuring that people have adequate access to health insurance, ensuring that people have adequate access to employment.
Yeah.
Right, and don't have prices going up massively.
Important.
That's all political, right? That is something that Donald Trump is making worse. Donald Trump is causing prices to go up. Donald Trump is causing unemployment to be worse. Donald Trump is causing the job support to be even worse. Donald Trump is specifically causing all of these economic tensions to occur. That's not good for our economy. That's not good for our system.